Ideal Protein is a doctor-designed, coach-led ketogenic weight loss protocol that uses food as medicine to empower you to lose weight and live your healthiest life.
And welcome back from outer space. I'm just here to see you with that sad look upon your face. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us today. We are going to be talking about space with the two gentlemen here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves real quick because this is Group Therapy. It's a weekly podcast where we get together and talk about what's going on in Livingston Parish. And today, I'm starting on my left.
Oh, man. Changing it up a little bit. This is Rob DeArmond. I'm the sports editor here at the Livingston Parish News.
And this is David Gray, lifestyle editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And I have already introduced myself, so we're going to move forward, but I got to turn these gentlemen up with their masks on. It is muffling their sound. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. It's going to be a very wide variety of shows, so please try to keep with us. But first and foremost, we're going to talk about Denham Springs High School. It's been a tough couple of years for the Yellow Jackets, especially the football program. Last year with Remy Hidalgo, and we're going to talk about that in a second because they celebrated sort of the 1-year anniversary of that tragic incident. And then we are also going to talk about, unfortunately, another tragedy, a passing of a coach who had been through quite a bit of adversity since the flood himself. So first and foremost, David, since Rob got to introduce himself first, we're going to start with you. Want to talk about the 1-year celebration of Remy Hidalgo's life and that situation. So take it away.
Well, yeah, there was a balloon release at Yellow Jacket Stadium, the same place where Remy played football. Growing up, he was a Denham kid his entire life. His mother, Ashley Roberson, she's done a sort of balloon release every month after his passing. Actually, on the 1 month mark of each time after he passed away. It's September 18th, 2020. A few days after he had a heat stroke in football practice. So she's, like I said, she's kind of done that every month. They've had friends over. The first month I know that they invited a bunch of Remy's friends over to their house, to Miss Ashley's house, and that first month they had so many kids there they had a wreck in the driveway. So that just, they've had his friends are still coming out there to show that they haven't forgotten Remy, who. It's crazy. I feel like I've gotten to know him over the last year, just talking to as many people as I have. The story that we had, bless you, we had last week. I probably talked to a dozen or so people. Former teachers, coaches, friends, and they just paint this picture of this incredible kid who. I told his mom it felt like he could have been the president. Like he was just one of those kids that, other people gravitated towards no matter your age. There was one teacher at Eastside, whenever he went to Eastside, it was her first year teaching first grade. She was really not looking forward to it. And she said Remy was, a kid who really inspired her to stay in the classroom because, like I said, first grade was just something that was thrown on to her at the last minute. And she really didn't want to do it. But so he just had this impact on people, and it's still evident today. His mother started the Remy Hidalgo Memorial Foundation, which at first it was just to do a scholarship every year, but now, they've really evolved into providing cooling tubs to football programs across South Louisiana. They've done 16, and I believe only, a couple of them are in Livingston Parish. Mostly it's, the Baton Rouge, in the Baton Rouge city limits, or in New Orleans. I think there's one in Lafayette. She's really taken this mission and expanded. And so Saturday they had the balloon released. His friends got together, had his maroon 2007 F-150 parked in front of the stadium. It has the decals that she's added to it, but it was a lot of emotion during that balloon release. That was one of the only times I think I've ever really gotten choked up at an event, hearing these kids talk about, because it was all kids who spoke. So, they're 16, 17 years old, hearing them talk about their friend, a year after his passing, and them still trying to just make sense of all of it. But yeah, Miss Ashley was strong the whole time. So, it was a good event for them to come together and, like I said, remember Remy.
And, I want to bring something up from a year ago when they had the memorial service, the immediate one, following his passing at Yellow Jacket Stadium.
You were there.
Yeah, it was very fascinating because usually when you get in a situation like that, when kids that age lose someone. I did when I was 18. One of my best friends from high school passed away, and it's very hard to process at that age. Remy must have been an extremely inspiring person, because I remember his two best friends got up there and spoke, and I was blown away by how clear and passionate they were about what they were saying while still being able to get up there and say it. It was very impressive. So I know that he had an impact on his community. Obviously, a year later, you're still getting just these stories about a great young man. So again, he will be remembered. Obviously, his mother trying to carry on a legacy. Yeah. So that's very important. Unfortunately, on the other end, we had a coach pass away here at Denham Springs High School. Obviously, if you can read the comments online, a very popular guy. So Rob, tell us a little bit about what happened there. And I believe he was also very close with head coach Brett Beard.
I talked with Coach Beard this morning. We're doing this Wednesday morning. I talked to him earlier this morning, and they were best friends. So Coach Beard said it's the first time in 10 years that he's come to work, yesterday, and Coach Smith is not there. They've been worked with him at Woodlawn, Live Oak, and now Denham Springs. I think. And then right before I got off the phone with Coach Beard, we started talking, and he just said, I kind of wish that the kids at Denham, Coach Smith was diagnosed with cancer when the flood hit. They were in the process of cleaning out his house, and go back and read some stories that were written. Randy Rosetta wrote one, and William Weathers wrote one at the time, but as they were cleaning, doing some of that cleaning, he just wasn't feeling well, and they went in and eventually went to the doctor and found out he had cancer, colon cancer, so this has been going on for a few years. And I think when I talked to Coach Beard, he said that the thing that he kind of wishes the kids at Denham could have got the full bore Coach Smitty, that they had at Live Oak and he had at Woodlawn, but in that sense, you also, like you said, you look at these comments on social media. And it's kids, it's players, current players, former players, different schools, coaches from different schools, and they're coming from all over the place on especially on Twitter. It's these comments and things, and people supporting. So when you look at that, you can see kind of the impact he had on kids and coaches and everybody. Everything's positive about and I'm gonna miss talking to him, because he's a straight shooter. He just tell you this is how it is. Right, and I'm just gonna miss him. Last time I saw him was at the last Denham game I covered. And he's out there, and he's still going at it. He was kind of in a kind of motorized chair and everything with the oxygen, but he's still there. He's still putting in the time, because he cares about those kids, and I think that's what if I'm going to take something away, or we take something away, it's look at the impact that he had with these kids, because I think that's why he was doing it. That's it. It's plain and simple.
Well, and it is when you hear about both of these guys, and you hear about impact, you hear about the people they affected, and
right.
It always seems to be very positive. So I know they will both be missed. It's been a tough year for Denham Springs High School. So please keep those players, that community, in your thoughts moving forward. And speaking of which, we'll stay on the topic of football for the time being. Getting into the slate of games this week, looks like we're going. We'll start with Denham, who had just a rough. I don't want to say rough. It was a great game.
Right, yeah.
But just things did not. The chips didn't fall their way at the end of the game. A narrow loss to Cecilia on the road.
You're up by 11 with about 5.5 minutes to go, and I guess, and you give up some big plays, and it goes back to because I didn't get to talk to Coach Beard after the game because of what was happening with Coach Smith and everything, but. We talk about a lot with Denham Springs, and it's a learning experience, and it's what they got. And he said we have to figure out as coaches, is there something we're not doing in practice to prepare these guys for these situations? Because it's you have to get in those situations and kind of persevere. But at the same time, Coach Beard was like, if we would have taken this same step, because you're looking at Cecilia, who's in the the top 10 in the Sports Writers Association poll. He said maybe last year we're not playing them that close. So he said I had to look at it that way too. For it to be that close of a game, it's just learning experiences. This week they'll be hosting Franklinton, which is a school that Coach Beard, one of his early stops on his coaching career. And he said he's got a lot of respect for the guys over there. They're kind of old school, and he started talking about Franklinton running the jet sweep, and I had flashbacks to A-Meets teams with Donald Career and things like that. And if you've seen it and it's run properly, it can be very effective. So that's one of those things that he was looking out for. But he's just looking forward to kind of get back, and the emotions are going to be real high, and with everything that's going on, and it's kind of. You kind of walk a fine line, you want to kind of keep them in check at the same time and still go out and perform your best, which is, it's going to be interesting. That's where I'll be Friday, because I'm just interested in how things are going to go in terms of, how they handle the situation for the kids and for the coaches and just for the community. You can, like I said, Coach Smith was well respected by a lot of people.
Sure. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, jet sweep will wear you out.
Yeah.
You got to, that conditioning better be good.
Yes, correct.
You were, before all this went down with Coach Smith, you were going to attend the Walker game. They had, excuse me. Remind us what happened this past week, and who are they going to be playing coming up?
They went ahead with played Mandeville. Got a big win there. Ja'Cory Thomas had a huge game, over 200 yards of total offense for him. Warren Young also had a huge game for him. Ja'Cory scored 4 touchdowns. And we were talking last week about consistency. So, I think the first thing I asked Coach Mahaffey, I said, I guess this is what you were talking about when you say consistency from your offense. And it comes through in a big way for them. And obviously that's something they want to build on heading in. They'll be hosting Bastrop on Friday. He's got some ties there. He coached there at Bastrop for a couple of years. So, he said he's looking forward to having them come visit. And the thing that he told me about Bastrop is they've always got athletes, and they've always got somebody who maybe can bust one and go a long way if you're not careful with what you're doing. So that's those big plays, and he always talks about tackling. He said he felt like they improved a bit there. So, it seems like we talk about tackling every week with Coach Mahaffey, but you have to stay on those basics like that.
You do. Tackling's a big deal. I mean, you look at LSU.
Right.
Suddenly Derek Stingley remembered how to tackle, and they have a big game. So it's, but I mean,
Central Michigan helps.
Well, they do, but it's also important to remember. First and foremost, I forgot that was Jim McElwain, former coach of Florida. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And they had put 530 yards of offense the week prior on Missouri.
Right.
So there were some good things. But these are kids, and they got to learn how to be consistent.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
Going north into Watson, Live Oak avenged Albany to a certain extent, beat St. Michael, correct?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that game and what they're looking at this week.
Nothing fancy in this one, man. It was just you kind of grind it out type deal. They went 14-0. It's really had an interception return for a touchdown called back at one point, but they wound up turning that into a touchdown. Aiden Saunders, who you guys know as a defensive back, he's been starting as a freshman. He's been there forever. He gets a little bonus here, and he scores a touchdown for him. So I gave him a little grief. Yeah, at this point you're a senior, you get to score a touchdown, and he said it's easy when my offensive line blocks like they do, and I don't have to do too much behind them. So they're making it easy on him. So. This week they've got South Terrebonne, and the interesting thing here, I think, is for South Terrebonne, it's their first game of the season because of hurricane damage down in their area. This is going to be their first time out. So I think one of the biggest things that Coach Westmoreland's kind of focused on is he's like, yeah, we got a chance to go 3-0, but at the same time, we know these guys are going to come in pretty hyped up because it is their first time out of the chute and being able to go. So he said we're going to have to kind of balance that out and kind of try to keep that in check and hopefully get off to a good start with it.
Sure. School's actually doing a free dress day for South Terrebonne for for hurricane relief.
Oh,
this
wow. I
week.
didn't know that.
Yep.
Did not know that.
This week they're going to have one of their free dress days, and then that money will go toward just helping South Terrebonne recover from Hurricane Ida. So
that's the good stuff.
That's the content we're looking for.
That's
right
the
there.
good. That's the
that
good
was the
stuff.
content we're looking for.
That's the good stuff. And people are you see how it just communities helping each other out, because I think we're I know people don't like hearing that, but a lot of people are in this realm right now and dealing with things. So that's if people can help out, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, even Laplace, which you don't. It seems north, but I had some friends who were with the state floodplain office that went down there to volunteer, and it's awful. And I can't imagine places south of that. You don't see much because there's not a whole lot of people down there right now. It's dangerous. So. Very cool. Very cool. So Live Oak will be having a free dress day.
That's a good deal.
Money collected will be helping Terrebonne Parish. So we got 2 teams left. Albany, we had the Battle I-12.
Yes.
Yes. Seemed like a pretty good game.
Well, Albany went up 22-0. And Springfield has to kind of fight their way back, and it's it goes back to I think Coach Serpaz is still looking for the team to get off to that fast start. It's big plays, and I think the way I wrote the story, and I think that this was the biggest play, is Springfield comes back right before halftime, gets their first touchdown. They scored both of their touchdowns on 4th down plays. They get back within 22-8, and then there's seconds left in the half, 30-something seconds left in the half, and Albany, calls a pass play, and Seth Gallion, literally, when I say he's behind the defense by himself, he's by himself. The J.J. Doherty rolled out to his right. Everybody flowed that way, and then you look back, and Seth has just basically got to catch the ball.
Right.
And J.J. put it right over the top, and they get that touchdown right before going into the half. And, and it's like Coach Serpaz said after the game, he said, we focus so much on teaching our guys, hey, JJ's going this way, he's going to move. They bid on it, and we paid for it. So he said he took that one on him. He said that's bad coaching on my part. He said I called the defense, so that's on me. So and that's the focus for Springfield is those big plays. They're going to be at Slaughter Charter this week. So he said that the focus right now is, hey, we gotta eliminate those big type plays,
right,
for them. So that's bottom line.
What about
guys.
Albany?
Albany, it's interesting situation because you kind of get to see what's going on. They hit those big plays. They're able to get them done. But the thing is, JJ got hurt. So they're going to be playing without him. It definitely this week for sure. It's a shoulder injury that Coach Knight told me that he incurred that on a fumble recovery. They had a fumble recovery. Springfield drives down, gets in. I want to say inside the 5, and they had one of those situations where the helmets come off of both the quarterback and the center, so they both have to come out for a play. Right. So they have to make that change. They go to a shotgun snap, and the snap sails back, and Albany winds up recovering in that situation. But on that play, JJ hurt his shoulder trying to do it. So he's gonna, at least this week, he's gonna be out. It's a precautionary deal. So Aiden Castile, sophomore, is going to wind up starting. He did a good job in the second half, just kind of You don't want to say game manager, but you're also, you're doing some different things because JJ's been there. He's been starting for 4 years. There's certain things that he does, and people know that's what he does well. But I thought Aiden came in and did a great job. And Coach Knight is, he's confident he's going to be able to do what needs to be done. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different than having JJ back there, but, he's confident in what they can do.
So lots of football coming up. We're going to come back to you for some other fall sports that have gotten. But I want to give David a chance here. David, coming, he earned a chance swooping in with that good content in terms of, don't forget, free dress day for Live Oak,
stuff, by the way.
Live Oak High students.
Things I didn't know. That's good.
First and foremost, we talked about a little bit, obviously, Hurricane Ida. I know people always get tired of hearing about things like this, but we're still in the recovery process. Parish President Leighton Ricks gave the Parish Council this past Thursday sort of an update on what's going on. I know, and I kind of want to bring in the flyover to this, but give us an idea of where the parish stands.
Well, this was as of last Thursday, so might be dated a few days right now. But as of what was the last update he had, there was 2,400 outages in the parish. And that was on Thursday. I looked earlier this week, and it was down. Excuse me. It was less than 200 earlier this week. So I mean, they have been making progress. Demco and Energy crews. So over the next week, we should hopefully reach that 100% power restoration. So and I'm supposed to be talking with some Demco employees this week, some linemen who are actually in the trenches, repairing, making these unprecedented repairs. I mean, you had hundreds of power poles that were just completely torn up, that had to be rebuilt, not repaired. That is the biggest phrase that these power companies have been using, that they have had to rebuild infrastructure, not just repair it, which rebuilding takes much longer. The parish is also in its debris collection process right now, and they were collecting. They have 64 trucks that are driving through the parish picking up. He said between 23,000 cubic yards of debris a day. You got to get the measurements right, but I mean, so yeah, I mean, just a lot of debris being picked up, and they've actually had the National Guard has been clearing waterways in the parish. So I mean, so there has been progress being made. Now I know it's not as fast as people would like it to be, but I mean, that is the hand that is being dealt right now. So I mean, so you can expect hopefully, based on how the restoration has been going, within the next week, you would hope that it'd be back to 100% power in the parish. And debris collection, we already know that's going to last, a few weeks. So, I mean, that, hopefully, we'll have a good update in the next week or so at the next parish council meeting from the president saying where the debris stands. But we know that that's going to be, a multi-week process.
And there was supposed to be a mosquito spray flyover because there has been reports of West Nile, but that has been postponed.
Postponed. Yeah. I mean, the Livingston Parish Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, LOSEP, they said they announced it last night that there was Tuesday night that there was going to be a flyover aerial spray operation. They called it Wednesday evening. And then Wednesday morning, for some reason, they decided to cancel it. Like you said, that was because West Nile virus has been confirmed in Livingston Parish. There is one case of the neuroinvasive disease, which is that's the most severe form of the West Nile virus. So far, it's been detected in 7 parishes as of the most recent report last week, and like I said, including 1 in Livingston Parish, but there's 3 in East Baton Rouge Parish. So I mean, it is around, and there's always more cases than what is confirmed. That's just what they can just what they can confirm at the moment. So and that's the result of standing water after hurricanes. I mean, mosquito activity always increases during hurricane season because of a lot more flooding, a lot more standing water, which leads to a lot more mosquito breeding and more mosquitoes, and then more West Nile virus. So I mean, that's something that they said, the LOSEP said that they will be continuing to monitor the situation. If they feel like they need to do this aerial spray operation, then they will do it. They said possibly in the near future.
Gotcha. So moving over to the schools real quick, and we're gonna have to speed this up just a bit. We have a raise for teachers, and we are also all schools are finally back open as a result of Ida. So I'm going to let you try to juggle those together into one.
Well, basically, yes, like you said, now all schools are in operation. Moorpaw High reopened this week. They had the cheerleaders welcoming students to like 2 lines of pom-poms. The teachers had a welcome back student sign at the front, and I talked to the SRO yesterday, and he said that, if you're just standing on the inside, you don't see the damage, you wouldn't be able to tell that there was a hurricane in, because everyone was just so happy to be back in school. So Moorpaw is back. The schools today had a professional development day that was canceled so that students could get that instruction time back. And as of right now, there are no plans to cancel any other holidays to make up for missed days. But we hear different. We'll let you know. And then the teachers, yes, all school employees are going to be getting a raise. That's going to be a $1,000 raise for full-time certified employees and $500 raise for full-time classified employees. Certified employees are, your teachers, people who have to have some sort of certification to be able to work at school. The classified employees would be more like your janitors, cafeteria workers, that sort of thing. So they're going to get that, and a one-time stipend of $750, I believe. Yeah, $750. So they will receive that raise and stipend in early October. And then that raise, like I said, will be that would be part of their salary moving forward. So
very interesting.
There you go with that.
Yep. that was impressive. Next, I want to talk about your hat.
Yes.
The inspiration mission. They were trying to raise money for St. Jude, but it was non-astronauts going into space, and one of them was a local.
Yes. She went to Southeastern Louisiana University. Her name is Haley Arsenault. And fun fact, that is my girlfriend's cousin. So that's where. But she went to Southeastern, so we do a lot of reporting with Southeastern Louisiana because we have a lot of Livingston Parish kids that go to Southeastern Louisiana. So they successfully completed the Inspiration 4 mission. They were 3 days in space, about 400 miles above the Earth's surface. They were past the International Space Station, and they were the purpose behind the mission was twofold, to expand the people who can go to space, and like you said, there was 4 non-astronauts that were up there, and also to raise money for St. Jude, which Haley, she was a patient of St. Jude when she was 10 years old. She had doctors detected bone cancer, and she became a patient there, and then years later worked her tail off to be able to go back, and now she works at St. Jude, and so she was pretty much the perfect spokesperson for this mission. And St. Jude was able to raise over $200 million from the time that the mission was announced until Elon Musk, who the owner, CEO of SpaceX, who it was their capsule that went into space. He pitched in the last $50 million to push them over that $200 million hump. So I mean that was so it's just a proud moment for Louisiana and my girlfriend's family personally. So
throw that little plug.
Yeah, it had to. But
All
this
right.
is the hat I got. So I didn't get to go, though. My girlfriend spent the last week, doing the zero gravity flights. And, she got to see the space launch from a couple miles away and then watch the splashdown. And then they partied with Elon Musk last night. Three Doors Down played. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a fan of them, but, who cares?
Well, yeah, but your terrible boss sitting on the other side of the table from you was like, you have to cover Ida. Ida is still happening.
No, Ida said I had to cover Ida.
Well, that's true. That was a historic storm. We talked about it last week. If you want some more details on why that was a historic storm, we've never had in recorded history one come through here that powerful. So
I actually talked to Haley because I told her I wouldn't be able to come to the space launch, and she understood because her father was a journalist, Howard Arsenault. He died a few years ago. He was a journalist. He actually started the Livingston Business Journal, from what I've been told. So yeah, I mean, so there's a local connection with Miss Haley going to space this week.
Yep, I knew Mr. Howard.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And sorry you couldn't go, but we appreciate you staying on top of it.
I got a hat.
Rob, and you got a hat.
Yeah,
got a hat. The hat is pretty cool. If you're listening, it's got this sweet. It's got the 4 astronauts on it. It's got the Inspiration logo, and it's got a shuttle going into space. It's a cool hat. It's a very cool hat. Last but certainly not least, Rob, let's wrap it up here. We're gonna y'all are gonna be covering volleyball tomorrow, but want to talk about the first cross country meet that occurred. Actually, there were several. This was over the weekend.
Yeah, this is second week. So.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what happened this week.
They had the Yellow Jacket Dash, which was hosted by Denham Springs out at North Park. Caden Boudreaux from Albany won the girls' title. She's kind of kept up. She's Division III state champ, defending state champ, and she won. Denham's Hannah Lombard was third there for them, and also Walker went out to St. Thomas Aquinas. Ava Patero, I want to say, finished third, and I'm checking on that right now in their race. And Live Oak actually competed at want to say it was Westgate. So the season is in full swing now. So here we are, man.
Here we are. So I want to thank both of you gentlemen for sitting down with me today. I appreciate it, and I'm sure our viewers do as well. We're going to let you introduce yourself real quick and before we head out. So that was a lot of outs. And we're going to start with David on the introduction.
Hey, this is David Gray, lifestyle editor with the news.
And
hey, this is Rob DeArmond. I'm sports editor here at the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us today for this show. Please remember this is a weekly podcast that we put out. The news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. You can also find these podcasts on our website or anywhere that you get your podcasts, any kind of platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and that sort of thing. So please go find it. We have other interviews that come out with local celebrities, politicians, and the like, so you can go check those out there as well. One last time, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we will see you next time.